Hello, everyone. We're going to get started in a minute, just waiting for a few more people to join us. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our NUN Northern Ireland pre-departure webinar. We are so incredibly excited. The semester is going to be starting very, very soon. I know it's been a busy summer for everyone, just making preparations and arrangements and getting ready to head over to Belfast and start your career as a Northeastern student, studying with our partner university, Queen's University Belfast. I know that we've been sending a lot of emails over the past few months with important information, but there's still probably things that you all have questions about, especially as you're making those final preparations to travel abroad. So we will hope to cover those throughout the presentation. We've got quite a few topics that we're going to hit on and really hope to answer as many questions as we can throughout the presentation. As things come up, you can also put a question in the question box on your screen. We will be recording this session as well. We'll be sending out an email to a link to it in the coming next couple of weeks. And so please know that as well. So without further ado, welcome, and we will get started. Just a quick overview, we're going to go over some introductions. We've got quite a few of our team members here today. We'll go over a site deep dive, some things you need to know as you prepare for departure, some tips on traveling, life abroad, what it's going to be like as a Northeastern student in Belfast, and even looking ahead into preparation for the spring in Boston. And at the end, we will leave some time for some questions and hopefully answer a bunch of those as well. To start off introductions, my name is Rachel Portwood. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the assistant director for the NUN program. Based in Boston, I've been with Northeastern for 7 years now, and working really closely with our student life team. We've got Danny here, Rodriguez, as well as our partner university, Queen's, and then our site staff that will be traveling over to Belfast with you. So we've got Amanda Schneider and Dior Hill on the call as well, and they'll be presenting as well. And then we also have our student success coordinators. So our NUN Northern Ireland program is about about just under 100 students. And so you'll have 4 student success coordinators that will be traveling with you to Belfast. They will be your main point of contact. There'll be a resource guide. They'll join you on cultural excursions, and then plan a lot of our really fun NUN traditions and cultural programming, as well as the exciting excursions that Queen's University Belfast has planned for you. For the parents, I am your main point of contact. So if throughout the semester you have any questions, concerns, feel free to reach out to me. We really want our site staff and the team in Belfast to focus on the students and be a resource for them. And I'm in pretty much constant contact with our coordinators, but we really want to allow them to focus on your students. So feel free to reach out to me. And then we've got our wonderful team at Queen's. I'll let Anya introduce herself.
Thank you, Rachel. Hi, everybody. You're very, very welcome today. Big hello from Belfast. My name is Anya O'Connor. I use she, her pronouns, and I lead the North America team here at Queen's. So we've been working away very hard over the last 6 months or more to get ready for all of your students joining us in Belfast this September. There are going to be a ton of staff that everyone will meet with whenever they get to Queen's. But just to point out a few of the key figures that students will be engaging with, myself, Ali Larkin, who is our NUN coordinator. So Ali is dedicated to the delivery of the program here at Queen's. And our 2 academic chairs, so Professor Philip McGowan, who's from the Faculty of Arts, Humanities and Social Sciences, who some of you will have met with at the in-person PDO in Boston, and Professor Andy McDowell, who's from the Faculty of Engineering and Physical Sciences. And we can move on to the next slide. So, a few fast facts about Queen's. I know we took a little bit of a deeper dive in person, but for those of you who weren't able to join us in Boston, it's great to start getting you oriented to the university that you're going to be studying with for the semester. So Queen's is the 9th oldest university in the UK. We were founded in 1845. We were actually one of 3 Queen's colleges on the island of Ireland. The other 2 are now known as the University of Galway and University College Cork. If we could go back to the last slide there. There we go, that's the one. We are a member of the Russell Group, which is a group of research-intensive universities in the UK. So that would be akin to the Ivy League in the US. And the really interesting thing about Queen's and about Belfast is that we're quite a unique destination within the UK and Ireland. Obviously, we're situated on the island of Ireland, so geographically, very much part of Ireland, but politically and economically, we are part of the UK. So for students, that means that you get a really interesting blend of British and Irish culture, and obviously get to study within the British university education system, but on the island of Ireland. And finally, the university is ranked in the top 200 institutions in the world. So this is something we're very proud of. You're coming into a very well-established and renowned Russell Group institution in the UK. You're going to be studying with some of the greatest professors across these islands. So we know we have a brilliant academic program put together for you. And we can move on now. Okay, so a couple of little images here just to give you a flavour of the campus that you're coming into. So Queen's is situated in South Belfast. This is a very leafy part of the city. It's known as the University Quarter, and that's because most of the area around Queen's is taken over in some capacity by university teaching spaces, research hubs, or student housing. So some of the images you can see here are of the university library, our student centre, and indeed the main campus itself. So we'll be giving everybody a tour on day 1, Monday the 11th. You will get walked around campus, put on some comfy shoes, and you'll be getting to know all of these sites. Okay, so I'm going to say a little bit more about Northern Ireland now. You can see there are some beautiful images from Belfast. That's Cave Hill on the left-hand side. That is a fantastic short hike with views all over the city. and then Belfast City Hall on the right-hand side, which is really kind of the heart of city centre. So let's dive in. A few fast facts and landmarks for you. So interestingly, Northern Ireland actually has one of the youngest populations in Europe. 21% of the population here are under the age of 16, and almost 50% of the population are under the age of 40. So it's a really youthful city in Belfast, very dynamic, changing very quickly, and somewhere where there are a lot of students, so plenty of young people around. Outside the city and indeed within Belfast itself, there are many areas of outstanding natural beauty. So you'll see quite quickly, both on the flight in and as you wander around the city, it's a very green place. I once had an American student tell me that it looks just like the postcard. So you can be the judge of that whenever you arrive. But some of the places that you'll get to see whenever you're here are the Causeway Coast, the Mourne Mountains and Strangford Lough. So you can see there's an image there of Mussenden Temple, which is up on the Causeway Coast, where you'll be going on the 16th of September. This was originally a private library, in fact, but is now used for very small, intimate wedding ceremonies up on the North Coast. The Giant's Causeway, another very famous site that you'll be seeing on that day, that's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It was formed over 16 million years ago. And in fact, at that point, Northern Ireland was still joined to North America, but it's now a huge geological attraction here on the island, and something that you'll get to explore and hear a lot about the mythology that's attached to that site as well. And then finally, if we've any golfing fans, not sure if there are any golfers amongst our student cohort, but of course, we are the home to Rory McIlroy and Royal County Down Golf Course, which is ranked in the top 3 in the world. So maybe there will be parents coming over who want to do a little bit of golfing whenever they're visiting, and there's an abundance of brilliant places to go and do that as well. So we'll move on to the next slide. We've got a few more little snippets for you that might be of interest. So you can see there, the picture on the right-hand side is Belfast Castle. That's up beside Cave Hill, which is that beautiful hill walk you saw previously. This was finished in 1870. It isn't the original Belfast Castle, but it is the one that is still standing today. And it was gifted to the city in the 1930s. So you can go and explore this. There's a brilliant exhibition there and some beautiful gardens around that site as well. We also have our own ice hockey team in the city, which surprises a lot of our visitors from North America. So the Belfast Giants were actually the champions of the Elite Ice Hockey League in the UK last year. So their season will be kicking off shortly after you all arrive. So if you're interested in that, do get involved. There's a very thriving local fan base that you can get involved with. And then you can see the image there on the right-hand side of the yellow crane. So you will see this whenever you're flying into Belfast City Airport. This is the Harland and Wolff cranes. There are 2 of them. And this was where the Titanic shipyards were. It is a very iconic image. When we go down to that area of Belfast, you'll start to learn about the history of shipbuilding, of engineering in Belfast. And of course, that is now also the area that's home to all of the film studios in the city, like the HBO and Netflix studios too. Okay, let's move on. So a couple more images just to whet your appetite. For any Game of Thrones fans, you may recognize the dark hedges there on the left-hand side. Again, somewhere that you will get to see whenever you visit the North Coast on the 16th. So there are tons of Game of Thrones filming locations all around Northern Ireland. If you're very into the show, you can do a whole tour dedicated just to that. And the rest of the images you see there are actually from Belfast City itself. So you can see the Titanic Museum on the right-hand side. You can see the River Lagan and our rowing team. So there's a very, very competitive rowing squad here at Queen's as well that you're very welcome to get involved in. And then those central images are of Belfast City Centre, both in the evening time and St George's Market there, which is a brilliant food and produce market that runs on Saturdays and Sundays. So plenty to immerse yourself in the first couple of weeks and beyond. Okay, so something a little bit more in the detail for a second. Visas and immigration, obviously it's very important that you have the correct visa for coming into the UK for your studies for the semester. Any student who's studying for less than 6 months in the UK travels on what's called a visitor visa for study. And there are slightly different application routes for this visa depending on what passport you hold. So if you are a US or Canadian passport holder, you can apply for this visa at the UK border, and that essentially means the airport. And this is very straightforward. So your application is essentially lodged for you when you pass through an e-gate or you go through a border check. So the second that your passport is scanned, that is you essentially applying for that visa for the semester. And then whenever you leave at the end of term and your passport is scanned again, that's you essentially checking out of that semester abroad. If you're applying from another country, we would recommend that you check whether or not you can also apply at the border, or if you need to make that application in advance. If you have completed your registration for Queen's, which I know the vast majority of students have now done, you should also have received some communication from our study abroad office to confirm which of those visa application routes is suitable for you. What I will do shortly after this is drop a link in to the chat so that you can see some information on our webpage about this as well. But you should have received something by email to confirm if you need to make that application in advance. And of course, any questions, you can also contact the NUN Assistant Director for the site. So I believe I am now passing over.
Thank you, Anya. So hello, everyone. My name is Amanda Schneider. I'm the program supervisor. So I'm going to be abroad with all of you at Queen's University Belfast. And so let's talk a little bit about what you are going to be thinking about for packing. So really, less is more. You want to try and pack as light as possible, even though it seems kind of crazy to want to pack light to be abroad for 3.5 months, but you can do it. We are thinking you are going to have about 1 checked bag. If you want 2 checked bags, really that should probably be your maximum. And then a backpack or a small carry-on to bring with you on your flight as well. Temperature wise, you're really thinking it's going to be in the 40s to 50s for the most part, a little bit cooler, but similar to New England fall weather if you are used to that. And you know, it shouldn't really get down too close to freezing, but you'll want to make sure you have a nice jacket for when it is a little bit cooler. You can purchase a lot of things when you are over there too. You're going to be exploring different shops, getting to know different department stores, things like that. So keep that in mind too, that you can buy different clothes to make yourself feel more comfortable while you are over there, or if you realize you need something abroad as well. Now, what's awesome is you're going to have a bedding pack as well as a kitchen pack when you arrive. So you'll be able to make your bed when you get there. You don't need to take up a lot of space. Bringing over a duvet and a pillow, all of that is going to be part of your bedding pack. And then you also have a kitchen pack. So you'll have some basic essentials like a plate, a fork, knife, and spoon, some pots and pans to really get you started. Another thing we're asking that you do not pack is your family pet. Our residence halls are not pet friendly at Queen's University Belfast. So please, no cats, no dogs, nothing like that. We would love to see them, but bring some pictures to show us when you arrive. So some must-haves you really want to think about is your passport. Of course, Anya was just talking about applying for that visa using the e-gate. You're going to need your passport in order to do that. So please make sure that you have your passport on the flight. That's going to be most important. You're going to need adapters for your plugs. I think Dior is going to talk to you a little bit about that in a second. So I won't get too far into it, but we will be thinking about adapters and what you'll need to be able to plug in things like your phone charger, laptop charger, things like that. You'll definitely want a warm fleece. a jumper, or how we say a sweatshirt or a sweater, to throw on, especially when it's a chilly night. You want to be comfortable. But again, those are things that if you didn't have room, you could definitely find a great fleece or a jumper at one of the local department stores as well. Definitely be thinking about a rain jacket. It is rainy weather in Northern Ireland, so you'll want to make sure you have something that is waterproof. Waterproof might be a little bit better than water resistant, so that way you are staying a little bit warmer. Then you'll also be wanting comfy shoes. Belfast is a very walkable city. We're going to be walking all around, so having comfortable shoes to get you from place to place is going to keep you most comfortable. When you are arriving at the gate, you're going to want your admission letter. So you all received a letter from Queen's University Belfast. You should also have a letter of admission from Northeastern University talking about your entrance into the NUN program. So these are great things to have printed, maybe have in a folder in the backpack that you have with you on the plane in order to be able to present those if they ask for them when you are at the border. Another thing is a towel. If you want to just start with one towel, maybe one large body towel, and then a small one to use for washing your face or washing your hands, that will be a great way to get started. And then of course you can always buy more towels if those are taking up a lot of room in your suitcase when you are arriving in Belfast. We are going to be taking some trips when we first all arrive to stores like IKEA, local stores, so you would be able to buy a towel very easily, but I would highly recommend you have at least one with you. You're going to need your laptop in order to do your schoolwork. So you'll want to make sure you bring your laptop and your charger. And then of course, when we're talking about adapters, make sure that you have an adapter in order to plug your laptop in. A journal is always a really great idea to have with you, because then you can kind of document your travels and everything that you are kind of doing, people you're meeting, fun experiences you're having. And this is a great keepsake or a memory in order to bring home with you, share stories with your family and friends. And then of course, thinking of family and friends, you're going to want some items from home, maybe some pictures, comfort items, things that you can have in your room. So maybe when you're feeling a little homesick or you just want a taste of home, you have those comfortable items with you. I'm going to pass it on over to Dior to go over the next slide.
All right, so hello, y'all. My name is Dior. I use him as pronouns. I'm the student success manager. So I'll be over there with you and supervising the coordinators. So right now we're going to talk about converters and adapters. So as you can see, the UK plug is a little different than the American plug. It's the type G plug that you see over there on the side. So you're going to want to be prepared for that. And just as a result, even beforehand, start preparing those adapters, doing some research online, seeing if we can get some. The UK also has Amazon as well. You're going to want to order from the amazon.co.uk website. So you can utilize Amazon when you get on site if you want to kind of see what your accommodation is looking like on site before you decide to buy plugs. But so yeah, just a little note about that. And so the adapters must comply with the British electrical system. So that's 230 volts, 50 hertz. And so in the British standard BS 1363. So extension leads are fine. So those long cords that kind of start that plug into the wall, then extend out into the plug are fine. But we are asking that you don't bring block plug adapters, which are pretty much like those boxy things that plug directly into the wall. They have a tendency to short circuit, we've been told, and just fry the systems that the on-site staff have provided. So we're asking that you bring out those long cords as well. So and that's something we can also get more accommodated with when we get on site. So, and also, like we said, we'll be visiting plenty of shops. So one of the things you might be even considering is for some of your smaller little outlets and appliances, that may be something that you can buy on site. If it's something a little bigger, like for example, I will be bringing my PlayStation 5, I will have an adapter especially for that. But small things like hair dryers, that might be something you can consider just buying on site. That way you can free up some luggage space for your more essentials. So yeah, and I'll just pass it back to Amanda. Next one.
Perfect. Thanks, Dior. Yeah, Dior makes a great point with those hair dryers. Sometimes when you try to plug that into an adapter, it could fry the hair dryer. So really a lot better to just buy something like a hair dryer once we're already there. Now, thinking about that departure, so you are actually going to be receiving a day of travel email. So we always want you to be keeping up with your personal email, your Northeastern email, because that is how we will be getting in touch with you. But really look out for that day of travel email so you kind of know procedure wise what needs to be done, especially for if there is a missed connection, if you have a layover, or if there's an issue with losing your bag, or even you just want to make sure you know how to get in contact with our on-site team we'll have a special day of arrival contact information in there. So that will be the specific number you can call in order to get in touch with us should anything happen. Now, when you are at the airport, you really want to make sure you are staying aware, especially if this is your first time flying alone. Maybe you'll be a little bit nervous. You might have the tendency to put headphones in or something like that. You really want to make sure that you know what's going on around you. Maybe it's an airport you've never been to before, paying attention to those signs, things like that. So do your best to not kind of close yourself off to the world. Be aware so that way you feel most comfortable and are able to safely navigate your new environment. People might ask you questions. You might need to be aware when the people are starting to line up in order to get on the flight, or if your gate changes, things like that. So really important to stay aware. Now, if you're part of the group flight, it'd be super fun if you could wear some Northeastern University colors. Maybe you already bought some merch when you were accepted because you were so excited. That'll be a great way to spot one another on the plane because many of you are on that group flight, which is so fantastic. So great way to get excited, meet people. Maybe you're going to be sitting next to one of your new program mates, which will be so exciting. And then just be prepared though, make sure you take a look at that email. So if anything happens, we'll of course be keeping an eye on the different group flights, knowing when they're supposed to come in, looking out for delays. But should you need to get in contact with us about anything, please make sure you have that information with you. Now, if you are flying alone, some things to keep in mind. You want to make sure that if you're not part of the group flight, you've planned your flights in order to come on September 9th. So a lot of flights are going to be overnight. You're probably going to be leaving on the 8th and arriving on the morning of the 9th. We need to know when you're arriving. So please make sure once you have that information set, you are getting in touch with Rachel, letting her know when your flight is supposed to arrive so we can keep that in mind and look out for you, make sure that you are safe, things like that. As far as the group if you arrive before the 9th, that is fine. That is up to you, but you will not be able to get into your accommodation until the 9th. So make sure if you are arriving a few days early so you can explore anything like that, then you are booking your own separate accommodation because we are not going to be able to let you in, get you into BT9 until the 9th. Your group flight credit will be applied to your student account in the fall. So you can look out for that a little bit later into the semester once we get started. And then that is going to be based on the cost of the flight from your local departure city. So that is a little bit more information about that. And again, just like everyone else, please stay in touch with us. You'll also need to arrange how you're going to get from the airport to BT9. So of course, if you need assistance with the address or where you are going to be going or any recommendations, you can get in touch with us. But if you're not going to be arriving with the group flight, we can't guarantee that you will have prearranged travel booked from the airport to the Queen's University campus. And I'll hand it back over to Dior.
Okay, so naturally you'll be flying into the Belfast City Airport. So it's definitely going to be one of potentially one of the more smaller airports that you've been inside. So on the bright side, it will be very hard to get lost. And we are going to have Queen's University Belfast staff there to help you every step of the way. So as soon as you go ahead and collect your bag from the conveyor belts, there's only 2 baggage claim belts. So once again, it won't be very hard to find your bags and everything like that. Site staff will be right outside the airport waiting to greet you. So we'll be directing you to get you onto that coach and you'll have to load your own bags and everything like that. But we'll have everything ready for you when you get off your plane. So be ready and on the lookout for that.
Okay, back over to me. So as Dior mentioned there, you're going to be arriving in on the 9th to Belfast City Airport. It is, believe me, it is a tiny, tiny airport. You will not get lost. You'll come off the plane and within 5 minutes, you will be at the baggage belt. And within 2 minutes of that, you will be in the arrivals hall. And that is where you're going to meet with the Queen's team. So I'm going to be there. I'll be waving frantically as I see everyone come through the doors. You won't be able to miss me. And from there, once we've gathered everybody, you'll be popping on to the private coach. And that will take you up to BT9 residence. It's about a 15-minute drive away. So again, it's a very short journey from the airport up to your housing. So really on that day, the plan is just to get you up to housing, get you checked in. And something to be aware of is that Saturday the 9th is actually the housing check-in date for all of our undergraduate student population. So any of our new students who are joining the university will be arriving at housing on that date. It's going to be very busy. The team there know to expect you, but just anticipate there's going to be a bit of a buzz whenever you get to BT9, and lots of other students who are moving away from home for the first time. So hopefully you'll meet some buddies whenever you're picking up your keys. So for the rest of that weekend then, it's really about settling in. Sunday the 10th, you will get a little induction to the BT9 site. So you'll get to tour around the tree house. You'll see where the laundry is. You'll have a meeting with your NUN family group. And then from Monday onwards, we are diving straight into your orientation program at Queen's. So I'm going to run you through a little bit more detail on that on the next slide. Okay, so we're going to take a brief glance at what's happening each day. Monday the 11th, this is your welcome day, and we're actually going to be in the Ulster Museum, which is adjacent to campus and situated within Belfast Botanic Gardens. So that morning you'll arrive, you're going to meet with the team at Queen's, we're going to run you through your programme for the week, and we're going to begin some academic advising and tours of the campus. On Tuesday, those tours will continue. You'll get to see the university library and have an induction around that. And you're also going to be invited to attend our main study abroad reception, which has lovely Irish cuisine and some fun music for you to enjoy as well. So that's a good opportunity to have a social opportunity to hang out with the rest of the NUN group, but also to meet lots of other visiting students from around the world. On Wednesday, you'll be coming along for a free student breakfast and a student services induction. So this is when you'll get to hear about things like Queen's Sport, the Wellbeing service, the Learning Development service, and all of the other support structures that are available to you when you're at Queen's across the semester. That afternoon, we also have a campus food market, so you can go and enjoy that. There'll be lots of food trucks there. And an international fair. So at this fair, you can meet with more of the clubs and societies and think about any of those extracurricular opportunities that you might want to join in with across the semester. And then on Friday, or I think I've skipped a day here, we're moving on to Thursday. I was talking about Wednesday, apologies. Thursday, you're going to be doing a little bit more exploration around campus. There's an opportunity to meet with some of the schools if they have particular induction programs running. And we're also going to be running an NUN session on that date. And we can move on to the next slide. Okay, so Friday the 15th, this is a really important one. You're going to get your student card. So this is the final immigration check. You'll bring your passport along, and the team there within the Immigration Services Unit will make those final checks. And once they're complete, you get your student card, and that gives you free rein over the campus. That's what you'll use to get access to all the buildings, including the university library. Saturday the 16th, this is your first field trip. So you're going to be heading up to the Giant's Causeway, making a couple of different stops along the north coast, and that will be running directly from BT9 accommodation. So make sure you have got something cozy to wear. That might be the day you want to pack your fleece. Make sure you've got your rainproof jacket with you that day as well, just in case. And then Sunday the 17th, this is essentially a day for you to explore Belfast. So there won't be any Queen's programming that day, but it may be a day that you want to do something with your NUN family group and some of the new friends that you've made. And then this all-important date, Monday the 18th, this is when term officially begins. So all of the Queen's undergraduate programmes will be kicking off and you will have your first day of class. So obviously you're going to be moving into BT9 when you arrive on the 9th. For those of you that attended the in-person PDO, you'll know BT9 is named that because it's the postcode that the housing is located in. So all of our housing sites are named after the postcode or the zip code in US speak that the housing is situated within. So you'll be on the Malone Road in Belfast. This is about a 7 to 10 minute walk away from the main university campus. It's a very leafy, affluent, quiet part of the city, and it's a beautiful walk down the Malone Road into the main Queen's site. This is a purpose-built student village. So it's very self-contained. There's a lovely social area there you can see a photograph of called the Tree House. So there's a free tea and coffee bar there every evening. There's lots of social spaces. My favorite one is, of course, the karaoke room. So if we have any budding singers in the group, you can go and enjoy that of an evening. And plenty of space for cooking food together. There's an outdoor barbecue area. And just outside the tree house is also where we have our little allotment. So if there's any gardeners amongst the group or someone who's interested in growing their own vegetables, you can go and do that too and contribute to the community fridge. So a few more photographs of the rooms just to give you a flavour of where you'll be. You can see there the photograph on the right hand side at the top is of one of the shared social spaces within the apartments. So every flat will have a shared kitchen and a shared living room. And then each student will have their own bedroom. So you can see a typical photograph there. It's a single bedroom. So you'll have your own bed, you'll have a closet to keep your clothes, you'll have a little desk for doing your studies, and you will also have a sink in your own room. Outside of that, there will be 2 shower rooms and 2 bathrooms on each floor as well. So they are shared with the other students in the apartment, and apartments typically have 10 or 11 students within them. The laundry is located over at the tree house. We'll show you how to use that whenever you arrive. But it's much more high tech than I remember whenever I was at university. So there's a little app that you can download. You can see when the laundry machines are free. You can get a notification whenever your laundry is complete. So it's all very easy to manage from a distance. Okay, we'll move on to the next slide. There we go. So a little bit of information about living in Belfast. You can see a few more photographs here just to give you a flavour of the city and some of the things that are there to enjoy. There's tons going on. So Belfast, despite being quite a small city, is a very lively one. So we have a population of about 400,000 people, but Belfast attracts a huge number of tourists every year. So tourists who are interested in the great outdoors, areas of natural beauty, but also the brilliant food scene in Belfast. So we've consistently been ranked in the last 5 years as one of the best foodie destinations across Europe. Lots of international cuisine available. There's a real cafe culture in the city. So this is something you can enjoy if you are a tea or a coffee lover. There's plenty of places to go and do that. And tons of sporting opportunities as well. So I'm hoping this is something that you will get stuck into when you visit. Just as many tourists will go and see their first baseball game when they come to the US. When you come to Belfast, you can go and see Gaelic games. So you can see Gaelic football, hurling or camogie, or indeed a rugby match. So the photo you can see there is actually of the Ulster Rugby Stadium, which is about a 10-minute drive away from campus. And that's a very popular evening activity to go and do during term time. So we'll move on to the next slide. So a few top tips for getting around, and don't worry about remembering all of this right now. This is something that you're going to live and learn as you go. But to give you a sense of that, getting around is super easy. So most of our students, of our staff, we get around on foot. Belfast is a very pedestrian-friendly city. There are footpaths or walkways everywhere that you might want to go. If you do want to get public transport, the main method of public transport available is by bus, and all of the city buses are pink, so you can't miss them. You'll see them from a distance. And then any of the buses that are going outside of Belfast to different, more rural areas would be a different colour, usually blue. Eating out in the city is very, very affordable, and within easy reach of the campus, there are lots of really good student-friendly places. So places along Botanic, which is a main student area, and Stranmillis, and places like Trade Market as well. So this is where we have lots of different food vendors offering cuisine that you can get in one place. So it's a little bit like the Time Out Market in Boston. For fun, again, there's so much on offer. If you're interested in something like hiking, you've got the Mourne Mountains on the doorstep. Lots of yoga studios, Pilates studios across the city. Lots of brilliant cinemas offering student deals, so you can find out which day of the week the cinema has cheap tickets and go along. Just like everywhere in the world, everywhere we look at the moment is covered in Barbie and Oppenheimer posters. And we do have our own cinema on the Queen's campus too. So the Queen's Film Theatre is home to our little art house cinema, and you can get reduced fare tickets there as well. Lots of live music and festivals. So Belfast International Arts Festival will be running while you're in Belfast. So lots of different cultural events you can check out with that. And of course, loads of museums as well. So we will be visiting some of these museums as part of your cultural module. And indeed, you'll be starting your first day with Queen's at the Ulster Museum, as I said earlier. So we'll move on to the next slide. So a little bit of orientation then to support and resources at Queen's. You will cover a lot of this as part of the orientation programme, where you'll meet with the different leads for the service areas. But that photograph on the top of the slide is of the One Elmwood Student Centre. And this is really the one-stop shop for all of our student support services. So as you go up those stairs in the middle of the One Elmwood Centre, you will find yourself at the student information point. This is where you can book one-to-one sessions for wellbeing support or for academic support. Anything you need, you will find within that building. Additionally, I know students have been asking questions about textbooks and whether or not you need to purchase those before you arrive. You don't, and we wouldn't recommend that. There is an extensive library called the Maclay Library, which you will have access to after you get your student card. Everything you need can be found within the Maclay Library. If you really want to buy a textbook to have for yourself, that's great. But we'd recommend that you order that whenever you arrive. So don't worry about carrying it with you. You can get everything you need in the library or ordered to your housing. So One Elmwood I've mentioned already. We will do a tour of that during week 1. And then the other thing that you'll see are the gym facilities. So that picture at the bottom of the slide is what we call the PEC, the Physical Education Centre. So that's home to our climbing wall, our indoor courts, swimming pool, gym, and lots of different fitness classes as well. As you're staying in Queen's student housing, you will get membership to the PEC included in your housing. So you can go and use all of those facilities free of charge. We'll move on to the next slide. So finally, I wanted to mention the Student Wellbeing Service. Obviously, this is something that you may or may not need to access whenever you're in Belfast for the semester, but it's really good to be aware of. This team are available Monday to Friday throughout term time. They have a daily drop-in service. So if you're feeling a little bit homesick at some point, or you'd like a referral into something like the counselling service, or you want to speak to someone about relationship challenges, anything that you might need, that's what the student wellbeing team are there for. So you'll hear a little bit more about this in September, but just put it on your radar for now in case you ever need to come back to it. Okay, all important slide here. I'm sure if there's any parents on this call, they will be paying close attention to this one. So banking and budgeting, what's it all going to cost in terms of your day-to-day pocket money and what you're going to be spending. You can see a little table there that outlines some of the cost comparisons. So how much things are going to be in Belfast. Generally speaking, the cost of food here, of groceries, is very, very affordable. I often get feedback from our US students that are here that they find it very surprising just how cheap fresh fruit and vegetables are. And that's something there is an abundance of. One of our largest economic sectors here in Northern Ireland is farming and agriculture. So you have a lot of fresh fruit and veg available on the doorstep. So in terms of managing your money for the semester, first thing that you want to think about doing is notifying your bank. So do let your bank know that you're traveling, because if you don't and you try to use your card when you're abroad, all of a sudden the bank might lock your account. It's happened to me before in the past when I've been on holiday, so don't make the mistake that I did. Make sure that your bank knows that you're going to be abroad if you plan to use that bank card. Something else you might want to consider is using a digital bank. So this is particularly good for students who are studying abroad just for one semester. There wouldn't really be much point in you setting up a UK bank account because you're only with us for a number of months. But if you look at something like a digital bank, services like Revolut that you can see mentioned there, they offer you the opportunity to have an app on your phone, and they'll issue you with a travel card. And that would save you paying transaction fees or exchange rates whenever you're in Belfast. If you to look at that in the next couple of weeks, they could send that card out to you before you travel, and you would have that by the time you get to Belfast. So I'd really recommend having a look at an organisation like Revolut. In terms of budgeting, we're recommending a weekly budget of about £150 sterling. That's a fairly generous budget that should cover all of your grocery shopping, some social activities, so going out to the cinema, meeting friends for coffee, that kind of thing, and also covering student meals at lunchtime on campus. So as a kind of estimate for what that might cost on a daily basis, about £7 would get you a good lunchtime meal and a coffee or another drink. Of course, if you are planning to travel over the semester, I know lots of people are talking about trips to Paris or Amsterdam or beyond, you will need a little bit more money to cover that. Those cities will be significantly more expensive than Belfast, so just make sure you've got enough money to cover those travel plans. Okay, we can move on. So this is the last slide from me, I believe, and I just wanted to end on saying a few words about excursions and programming. Of course, you know, your program is going to be very focused on academics at Queen's. You're going to spend a lot of time on campus and in the classroom, but we really want you to leave feeling that you've got to know Northern Ireland and you've a good sense of the people and the culture. So something that we've put together for you is a cultural module. This will be running every other week, and you'll be put into a smaller group within the larger NUN cohort. So there'll be 4 cultural module groups, and you'll be going with your group to 6 different experiences during the semester. So these will include things like political tours, visiting the seat of government here in Northern Ireland, making museum visits together, and enjoying cultural activities like the Belfast International Festival. This is, of course, an academic module, so there will be some academic content that's wrapped around all of this to bring it together and to support you to reflect on what you're seeing and learning about as you travel around the city and Northern Ireland. And then outside of your academic experience, we're also putting together 3 field trips. So I've mentioned one of these already. The 16th of September, you will be heading off to the Giant's Causeway. You can see someone doing a lovely pose there on some of the rock formations. And then Derry, London, Derry, which is the 2nd city in Northern Ireland. up on the north coast as well. You'll be there the 14th and 15th of October. Again, there's a fascinating history within that city, and you can learn a lot more about the history of the conflict in Northern Ireland whenever you go up there for the weekend. And then the final trip we'll be doing, we're just trying to lock down the date for that one at the moment, will be a day trip to the Mournes and County Down. So very beautiful area and mountainous region within Northern Ireland. So tons to look forward to. You're going to have a fab time. And I'm going to hand back over now, I believe, to Dior and Amanda to take you through the next few slides.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Anya. Yes, so we are going to talk a little bit more about traveling when abroad. So as Anya mentioned, we have some really fun trips that are going to be included as part of our program that we are all going to go on together. But I know that you are all probably thinking about where else you want to visit while you're abroad, other places to see. We are really encouraging you to wait to book that travel. So it might seem really exciting to maybe get a trip on the calendar and you want to book it right now, but really the best thing you can do is wait until we get there, because as you saw, one of our trips, we don't have an exact date locked down. You don't know what your class schedule is going to look like. You'll know what your classes are and be able to plan more around that once you arrive on September 9th and as we get started in our orientation for you. So please wait, it's going to be fine, and there will be plenty of opportunities for you to go to lots of places that you have on your list. Now with family and friends visiting, we know, I know even my parents are planning to come visit while we are over there. So that is very exciting. But again, a great idea for them to wait a little bit to plan that. So that way they aren't coming at a time that's going to coincide with another trip that is planned, something that you need to do for your cultural module or another class, things like that. Really, just make sure you have the opportunity to get acclimated, understand what things look like for the program before people are, planning to come visit you, so you have the best time with them that you can. Now, any time that you are planning to leave Belfast and it's not part of our program, of course, when we're all going together, you're not going to need to do this because we'll all be accounted for. We'll all be together already, but you need to fill out what's called a program deviation form. Now, of course, once we're on site, we're going to make sure you know exactly where to access that, and you will be able to ask us if you ever lose it or can't find where to submit that. But the program deviation form is going to be really important. So that way, if anything were to happen, we know exactly where you are supposed to be, can get in contact with you, and make sure you are accounted for and everyone is safe. So we will talk more about that, of course, when we are on site, but just to kind of get it in your mind now, you are going to need to let us know as part of the program where you are if you are leaving Belfast. And again, we'll have a lot of great opportunities to see cultural sites, go places that are in the city. So you'll really get to know Belfast as part of the program. And of course, we'll all be able to explore even more places when we are together. All right, next slide. I'm going to hand it back over to Dior.
So as part of the NUN program, when you're going to be abroad, we are requiring that you have a phone with international talk, text, and data. So just having simply Wi-Fi calling is not going to be allowed. You need to have some type of phone that we can have access to you while you're abroad, because there'll be instances where you may not be able to have access to Wi-Fi, and we need to still be able to contact you in instances like that. And you need to be able to contact out, because the last thing we want is a situation where you're having an emergency and you can't get any contact to anyone because you're not having data. So make sure you have a phone plan that includes international talk, text, and data. So site staff, just as an extra line of precaution, will be collecting like your phone numbers from a site. When we get on site, we're going to be mainly using Manager Hub, which is an app we'll let you know a little bit more about later, but it's going to be our main way of connecting with you and the students. That'll be our main line of connection, but we're also just going to be asking for your phone numbers as well, just for that extra layer. But make sure you're staying connected with your family back home and your loved ones back home and your friends. So set aside set aside some time to connect and talk with them back home, making sure you're talking about expectations and how often you're going to be in touch with them. Because the last thing we want is someone not knowing where you are and not knowing how to reach you. So make sure you're setting those expectations up ahead of time. That way, when you're talking with your parents, they know when you have those designated times. And also it can be helpful just to connect with them and everything like that. So making sure you're setting those things up. But utilize apps that make sense for you and your family to talk. So maybe Zoom, WhatsApp, FaceTime. Definitely recommend WhatsApp. It's a great tool for using when connecting over international lines and everything like that. But making sure you're also having that Mentor Hub app. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, but that's going to be that app that you're going to be using to connect with NUN staff and your coordinators as well and everything like that. But yeah, just make sure you're keeping those lines connected with your people back home.
Perfect. And one thing that you are going to have as a resource for safety as well. So of course you'll have your cell phone, whether you choose to purchase a SIM card or if you are able to get an international plan for your current phone, but you'll also have the Global Safety and Support Network. So this is through our Northeastern. We've been talking with them all week, going over different safety procedures and getting in touch with them, all of that. So we are very well versed in working with our Global Safety and Support Network, and we're going to make sure you guys all feel comfortable with it as well. But there is 24/7 international assistance. So if you guys want to take note of this phone number, of course, we are going to have this phone number readily available for you all. But this is the phone number that you can utilize. We are also, this is a +1 number, which means it's a US number. We're also going to have a +44 number, which is a UK number that's available. So not to worry, we are going to have all of that for you so that anytime we need to get in touch with the Northeastern Safety Office or any lines of communication for safety related situations, we have our Global Safety and Support Network available. Next slide.
Okay, and so one app we are going to ask you to download, so I don't know if you want to jump the gun already and get that downloaded, is going to be our Garda World app. So pretty much it's through our Global Safety and Support Network. So just search up Garda World Travel Security on the App Store. And these are just some of the services that it includes. So notifying relevant Northeastern contacts. So it's going to be a way for you to connect with people that you might need. Medical and hospital referrals and security assistance. So it's going to be able to let you know what hospitals are in the area and what you're going to need. Emergency evacuation services. So if there's any type of like mass scale emergency that happened, that's going to be your best source to know what to do in next steps. Lost passport, travel document assistance. So heaven forbid you actually lose your passport and everything like that, that's going to be your best next steps on what you can do to kind of rectify those issues and how to get support next for that. Emergency cash transport assistance. So if you need cash transfer in a bind, that's going to be Garda's going to be that app that's going to help you assist with that. And then also travel information, including visa, passport, and vaccine requirements. So you can also use the Garda World app to get access to a lot of those information. And then emergency telephone interpretation assistance. So thankfully, Northern Ireland speaks English, but accents can be difficult to navigate sometimes as well. So even if in any instance we have that interpretation, so which may also be helpful if you're doing any other type of travel to any other countries, that may be something that you can utilize as well. But just make sure you have this Garda World app downloaded because it really is going to be a great lifeline for you while you're abroad, which offers a multitude of services that are going to be very helpful to you. So without further ado, I believe we're going to pass it off to Rachel for our next section.
Thanks, Dior. So I know that we have a lot of questions regarding health and safety. Just a quick note as I go over these slides, if you have questions that are very specific to your own needs, it might be best to reach out via email just so that we can address your specific need. But as a general rule, I just wanted to highlight a few different things here. Belfast has a lot of excellent hospital facilities. If you do find that you get a cold, COVID is still floating around a little bit. If you are, playing soccer at BT9 on your afternoon off and you sprain an ankle, those are things we see pretty typically. But if you do need to access any medical facilities, the closest ones are going to be Knightsbridge and Ulster hospitals. Those are both private hospitals. If you have have any prescription medications, that's something to be sure that you are talking to your doctor now about, making sure that you're getting a written confirmation of that prescription, and making sure that you have enough to get you through, if not the entire semester. Some medications we understand are controlled and you can only access a certain amount at a time, but definitely make sure that you travel with enough to at least get you started and then bring that prescription with you. I'll touch base a little bit more in an upcoming slide about health and travel insurance, but you do need to have that for your entire program. And again, those are the emergency numbers. Our site staff, if it's something like a sprained ankle or you've got a little bit of a cold, you can reach out to our site staff. If it's a wider emergency where you've fallen and you think you've broken a leg, you'll want to reach out to 999 as your first point of contact, but then you can also reach out to that 24/7 international assistance hotline that Amanda and Dior were speaking to as well. So moving on to the next slide. Just some reminders about health and well-being. I mentioned plan ahead, talk to your doctor now to understand what your health and well-being needs are as you're moving, planning to move to Belfast, identifying, where you can access care if you've got an ongoing, if you need ongoing support while you're there in Belfast. It can include also things like therapy. If you are working with a therapist currently, start talking with them now about what your plan is going to be when you're abroad. Will they continue sessions with you virtually? Will you want to set up something in person in Belfast? Things like that. So start thinking ahead to make plans for your health and well-being. If you do have a chronic illness or a dietary need, our Global Safety and Support Office has put together some really cool resources. If you're joining on your laptop and have your phone nearby, you can scan that QR code. If not, no worries. You can also find that on our Northeastern Global Safety website as well. It's just a really helpful resource that you can utilize as you prepare for your time abroad. And of course, you can always also reach out to My Travel Plans. The email is mytravelplans@Northeastern as well, or you can email me and I can help direct you to them as well. But I wanted to share that. As a quick reminder, all students are required to have personal health insurance while they're abroad. We won't get into that too much right now, but you will want to make sure that you're reaching out to your current health insurance provider, see if they have coverage that will extend to your time in Belfast. If they don't, they might be able to provide a recommendation of a partner that they have there in the UK. And again, unfortunately, we aren't able to make specific insurance recommendations because those vary based on each individual's needs. And so that's just something that you'll have to do research on, but make sure that you have health insurance coverage if you need any help with prescription refills, if you lose your glasses while abroad, if you, take a side trip and you hop over to London for a couple days and you sprain your ankle, things like that, you'll want to make sure that you have coverage for. And then moving on. As well, mental health resources. If you are feeling a little homesick or, transitioning from life in high school to life in college is a massive transition. And then add on top of that, you're going to a new country and a new place. And so we understand that there are a lot of things that can feel really big at different times throughout the semester. So feel free to reach out to your coordinator, our site staff, Amanda, Dior, if you are really struggling with homesickness, adjusting to life as a college student or anything else, we are here to help. But one note is we aren't trained licensed therapists. So at a certain point, we might, redirect you to additional resources. We've got mental health resources, both on site at Queens. You can reach out to the Queens Wellbeing Services, or we've got 24/7 health support through Northeastern as well, through Find at Northeastern that you can utilize while you're abroad. So you've got lots of support. Please use it if you need it. Nothing is too big or too small to reach out about. And we want to make sure that we're providing you the support you need as you go through this transition, because it's definitely exciting, but it can have moments that feel a little bit overwhelming as well. And that's totally okay. It's quite normal. So please know that you're not alone in that. And we are absolutely here to support you. And then thinking ahead, I know that right now your focus is, heading off to Belfast, all the fun things you want to do and see in Northern Ireland, things you want to experience, the classes that you're taking at Queen's. There's so much, but some of you might be thinking ahead about, well, what about the spring? What happens in January? So a few things just touch on briefly. For classes, you will be registering for spring classes in Boston, actually, while you're in Belfast. So in October and November, your colleges from Northeastern, your academic advisors here in Boston, will be reaching out to you using your Northeastern email. So again, remember to check that Northeastern email account regularly. Our site staff will remind you as well, but your academic team here in Boston will be reaching out to you about the classes that you need to register for the spring. And that will help happen at a different timeline. So depending on what your major is, what college you're in, some of those colleges start that process in November. Some of them have a little bit later timeline where it might not be November. So just keep that in mind. If somebody in your flat has already heard from their academic advisor, but you're still waiting, don't panic. Everyone has kind of a slightly different timeline, but that will happen over the fall. You'll also get an email in the fall from the Northeastern housing team. So all NUN students are guaranteed Northeastern housing when they return in the spring. And there will be the opportunity to fill in a housing application for Boston to let us know your preferences. So if your flatmates have really hit it off well with you and you want to live together, you can absolutely request that. Or if you made a really good friend that's living in another apartment block and you guys want to live together in Boston, you can do that as well. So that's your opportunity to make those requests. One thing to note is even though you're housing in Belfast, you'll have your own room, your own space, which is really, really nice. That is not going to be the case here in Boston. On Northeastern's campus and the Northeastern housing, it's typically shared rooms. So that's just something to keep in mind. You will have a roommate sharing a bedroom with you when you come back to Boston. So, and then when you get here in January, we'll have a full orientation program for you to get to know the Boston campus, as well as different organizations and clubs that you can plug into. We typically have some fun NUN specific programs that happen here in Boston as well, where you get to see all of your friends that you've made as part of the NUN Northern Ireland program. And then next steps, just a few reminders. Make sure, again, that you're checking your email on a regular basis. We are going to be sending out a lot of really important information over the coming weeks and even over the semester. So check your email, your Northeastern email daily. That's where I'm going to send out that travel email the week of departures, just with really detailed information of where you go when you get to the airport, what's the address of BT9, things like that. Make a plan. I mentioned earlier, start talking to your doctor, your medical providers on what you need to do in order to stay healthy, but also make a plan with your family and friends. Make a plan of, are we going to talk every single day? Are we going to talk once a week? What is that cadence going to look like? I last year got a panicked phone call from a mom who was like, my student hasn't responded. And I was like, when did you last reach out? And they were like, half an hour ago. And so I was like, well, maybe they're in class or, out for a coffee with a friend. So set those expectations now of like, hey, maybe I might not be in touch every single day, but I promise I'll reach out, every couple days, or Sundays we'll set up a Zoom call or FaceTime to chat for half an hour every Sunday night before I dive into classes. Whatever works for you, it's going to look different for every student and every family, but make that plan now. Start also making a Belfast bucket list on the things you want to explore and see and try and do in Northern Ireland, restaurants you might want to go to, things you might want to see as part of your Inuit experience, and start preparing to pack your bags. It's only a few short weeks away, and we want to make sure that you have everything you need. Again, Belfast has a lot to offer. Students very typically will, shop for new clothes, and buy fun souvenirs. So keep that in mind as well. Don't overpack, but make sure you're setting aside those basics and things you absolutely want to take with you when you go. And then up next is our contact information. Again, you can reach out to the main NUN phone or email, or you can email me directly. My email is on the screen. It's r.portwood@Northeastern. I am overseeing the program there in Northern Ireland. You can also reach out to the team at Queen's if it's a specific question regarding Queen's. You will not get your class schedule until you arrive on site, as Anya mentioned. There will be the opportunity to do that during orientation week, so keep that in mind. And then housing assignments will probably specific, like which flat I'm going to be in, will also be upon arrival as well. So you might not have that in advance. So just keep that in mind. And then finally, I wanted to see if anyone has any questions. If we see anything trending in the question box, you can let us know. Oh, this is a really great question. So there is a program also in Dublin, in Ireland. So it is a short train ride away. Right now, we don't have anything planned to pair up with the students in Dublin. And the reason for that is, although most students can travel across the border quite easily, we do have some students that have visa restrictions and might not be able to. So that's something we're figuring out, but really great question there. As far as connecting with other students in the program, you'll absolutely get the chance to meet with them when you're arriving on site. If you're part of the group flight, we recommend that you wear like a Northeastern t-shirt if you have one. If you don't, you can absolutely just wear red and black. And it's pretty easy to see who's part of the group if you're traveling on those group flights. We understand that not all students were able to come to the in-person orientation in Boston, and that's totally okay. Many students weren't able to travel over, so please don't feel like you've missed out on some great group bonding, although I know that started to happen. That's not something that you've missed out on. Oh, this is a good question. The mailing address for packages, and how is there a limit to packages? Anya, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, sure. So I'm just about to drop a little link into the question area there that has a list of all the mailing addresses. You'll notice on it that it has mailing addresses which list the specific blocks that students are staying in. So you'll get that confirmed whenever your students check in on the 9th of September. But if you really need to send something in advance, you could just send it to the general BT9 address, which I can also post a link for. And in terms of limits, I'm not aware of any. I mean, of course, the mailroom will be of a particular size, so we wouldn't want to consume the entire space with lots and lots of large packages coming in. But unless you're sending, widescreen TVs, I think we're going to be okay. So do feel free to send little care packages from home throughout the semester. I'm sure they'll be very welcomed by all the recipients.
Great question. So this is another question, Anya, that perhaps you can speak to is, are students responsible for, going grocery shopping and making their own meals? Is there a meal plan available? How does that work?
Great question. Yes, this is a big part of starting university in the UK and Ireland. So this is really the moment you're moving away from home, you're starting to learn to fend for yourself. So big part of semester 1 of college in the UK and Ireland is learning to cook for yourself, learning to go grocery shopping. There are lots of stores near to the housing. So lots of big superstores where you can get all of your groceries, and also smaller shops where you can pick up day-to-day items that you might need. There's also the opportunity to order deliveries of food. So if you wanted to put an online order in from somewhere like Tesco's, you can do that and get them delivered to housing. But absolutely, you should come with a couple of recipes up your sleeve, just the basics to get you started. There will be some cooking demonstrations taking place at BT9 as well. And of course, if you're feeling really tired or exhausted one evening and you don't want to cook, and you haven't convinced any of your housemates to cook for you, you can use something like Uber Eats, and there's lots of other local apps like Deliveroo that you can use to get food orders as well. And then finally, of course, there are a ton of restaurants and cafes all within walking distance of the campus and of housing. So you could organize to go out for some food, go grab a pizza with some friends. There's tons of different options available to you.
Thanks, Anya. What about cleaning? Can you speak to that? Are the flats cleaned for students? Are students responsible for cleaning their own space? How does that work?
Yeah, so there is a cleaning service that operates every Monday. So the cleaning team will come in on a Monday and they will clean the common areas. So they will clean the kitchen and they will clean the bathroom and shower rooms. Now, there are some conditions attached to that. So they will clean any empty surfaces and spaces. So if they come into the kitchen and, everything is covered with food or there's lots of dirty dishes, they're not going to do that for you. So you do need to keep the kitchen in a state that the cleaners can actually go in and do their work around. But that service is there. Your own bedroom is something that you will be responsible for. So you will need to keep that spick and span across the semester to make sure that it's a nice environment for you to be in. So we'd recommend, the first couple of weeks, whenever you're settling in, have a conversation with the people that you're sharing the apartment with about how you want to live together, how you want to handle a cleaning rota, or what your kind of standards are for the apartment that you're sharing. You will be only living with other Northeastern students, so you'll be with your own cohort, and those conversations can be supported, of course, by the on-site coordinators as well, if you want a bit of a hand with that.
That's really good to know. So students will be responsible for things like doing their own dishes, taking out their own trash, in order for the cleaning team to actually do the proper clean of the common areas. But also it's good to know that they're responsible for keeping their own bedroom clean. One question I have in the chat is does the treehouse have a small shop where students could buy like tea or coffee? Is there any food available? What's going on at the treehouse?
Yeah, so the treehouse it's really a social space. So there isn't a grocery store or a shop within the treehouse. There is a tea and coffee bar that is open every evening and it's free of charge, so you don't need to pay for that. That's just a kind of hangout zone that you can go and enjoy. In terms of picking up anything from the shop, there is a little store that's about a 3.5-minute walk away from the housing. So you can pop out anytime and visit that. It's open, I believe, 24/7. So that's always available to students. If there's something that you've forgotten to get and you just need, one small thing to finish your recipe, or, hygiene products, whatever the thing may be, you can go and get that from that local store.
Thanks, Anya. And what about meal options on campus? Are there eateries, cafes? Is there like a cafeteria that students could buy into a meal plan for on the Queen's campus? How does that typically look?
Yeah, very good question. So we don't do meal plans on the campus because the kind of culture here really is that people do a lot of their own cooking. But there are lots of eateries across the campus. So we'd find a lot of our students want to pick up lunch. They'll prepare their own breakfast and their own evening meal. But around lunchtime, people often want to pick up something quickly between classes or to meet some friends at that time. So there are 3 different cafes across the campus. There is one in the One Elmwood Student Centre, there is one in the library, and there's one right in the centre of campus in our main site tower. So across all of those spaces, you can pick up coffee, refreshments, they'll do hot food, as well as things like sandwiches and salads that you can take away. So there's lots of different options available, and they're all affordably priced. And then just around the perimeter of the campus, there are many more privately run restaurants and cafes that students can visit as well. So there's no set meal plan, but there's lots of affordable options.
Thanks, Anya. I see a question about Thanksgiving. Is there a Thanksgiving holiday? Will students be in classes? How does that work?
Great question. So Thanksgiving is not a holiday in Northern Ireland. Sadly, we would love to have another holiday to add into the mix. But we do recognise Thanksgiving on campus, as we do many other international and cultural events. So we will be having a Thanksgiving dinner on the campus. We've been doing this every year for a long, long time now. And that's an opportunity for all of our American students on campus to get together and to enjoy a kind of family meal together. So that option is there for any Northeastern students who would like to join that. We hope that you will. We also know that some parents may want to visit over that time as well. So of course, if you want to come and see your student across the Thanksgiving period, that could be a nice moment to reconnect as well.
Thanks. What about working in Belfast? Are NUN students able to get part-time jobs?
That's an important one. So no is the answer. If you're traveling on a student visitor visa, which is the visa all of the Northeastern students and any student who's studying with us for less than 6 months will be on, you are not legally allowed to work or to undertake formalised volunteering in the UK during the semester. So you might have some experiential learning that's offered to you, but you couldn't do any formalised work or volunteering. So please don't do that while you're here, because it would jeopardise the visa that you're on.
Thanks. I'm trying to do a quick scan. There is a question on when parents and families are recommended to come visit, and I can take that one. Anya, give you a little bit of a break from talking. So this really varies. A lot of families, parents choose to come around the Thanksgiving holidays, even though your student will have classes. It's a good opportunity to take advantage of having the time off of work and to go for an extended weekend. So we see that happen quite a lot across different NUN sites. Another popular time for parents to come is later in October. Definitely wait to schedule that until after we've got our programming calendar. So wait a couple weeks after students have arrived, just so that we know that you aren't coming and your student isn't on a trip to another part of Northern Ireland. Another thing that parents and families really like traveling towards the end of the program as well. So coming over in December after finals are winding winding down in order to really take advantage of the holiday spirit that's in Belfast. Can be quite fun. We typically don't recommend that parents and families come with students when they're traveling to site in early September. We know that some parents do that, and I often get calls of, I didn't get to see my student at all because after they moved in, they were really gone, and that's quite true. We've got a very busy program scheduled during orientation, pretty much from the moment students land there in Belfast. And so just keep that in mind if you do choose to travel with your student to Northern Ireland. Once they all arrive on site, they will be very, very busy. So it's very likely that you might not see them. I have a question as well about purchasing a SIM card on site, if that's a possibility.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've got a video playing there because I was about to share a video in the chat, and I will ping that in just now. So yes, you can get SIM cards in Belfast. Actually, we give out SIM cards free of charge during welcome and orientation for all of our international students. So that is something that we will advise students on when they arrive, where they can pick those up. Usually it's available either at student housing or in the One Elmwood Student Centre. So during the first week, there should be a free SIM card available to every international student.
Thank you. Just doing a quick scan here. As far as cleaning, going back to the cleaning topic, is any cleaning equipment available? A vacuum, broom? Do students need to buy their own like disinfectant sprays or wipes in order to clean their space?
I love this question. This is great, getting ahead of the cleaning game. So yeah, there's access to equipment, and there'll be access to things like vacuum cleaners. For things like sprays or any cleaning products that the students may want to use in the apartment, they would usually buy those directly. So the students could club together at the start of term, pick up some products that will last them the first couple of weeks or month, and then top that up as they go. As I said, you are responsible for your own bedroom as well. So you may want, something to maintain that space as well. But for the equipment like a Hoover or a vacuum cleaner, that is made available to you.
Perfect, thanks. I can take the next question. It's a really good one, actually. And that's, how much money should students travel with? And that's a really, really good thing to start thinking about. Typically, we recommend traveling with anywhere between 100 to 200 pounds. Again, Belfast is in the UK, and so students will be using the Great British Pound, sterling, not euros, although I'm sure if you hop down to Dublin at some point or go to mainland Europe, you will need euros, but you will want to travel with some cash. You don't want to take a ton. There's lots of ATMs at the airport around Belfast that students can withdraw money from, and also a lot of the local shops, cafes, restaurants, credit and cards are fairly widely accepted. And so you don't need to travel with a huge amount of cash, but it could be good to have a little bit just at hand. I have a question as well about towels. Are towels included as part of the bedding pack?
No, they are not. So we would recommend packing one nice, big, soft, fluffy towel with you. Of course, you can buy more when you get to Belfast. The BT9 housing is very close to an area called the Lisburn Road. There's lots of stores there where students can buy groceries, but also some household products. So if students want to go and pick up some more towels, they can do that so easily. So don't take up loads of space in suitcases with towels. One big towel, maybe if you have longer hair, you might want a smaller towel as well, a head towel. And I can see a question's just come in there about Apple Pay. Yes, it's used very commonly. Most people are using their phone to make payments, same as the US. It would be quite unusual for people to be carrying cash around with them. So using your phone or using a card works just fine.
What about paying for laundry? Are students responsible for doing their own laundry? Can you speak a little bit to how that process works?
Yeah, sure. So students are responsible for doing their own laundry. There is a laundry facility within the treehouse space on the housing site. The cost of that is very minimal. I think last time I asked the housing team about this, it was about 50 pence. So, you know, less than $1 for each wash that students want to put on. Essentially, they bring their laundry down to that laundry space. They can check in advance if they wish, if there is a machine that's free, because there's an app they can download on their phone that will tell them how many machines are available. And then once they've started the wash, they can track that through the same app, so that when the laundry cycle is finished, they'll get a little notification that will let them know they can go and pick that up and put it into the dryer, or take it back to their room.
Brilliant, thanks. I actually have a question that maybe Amanda or Dior can answer. What about, family groups on site? We've heard a little bit about that. What is a family group? What are some of the things that the Northeastern staff does with students throughout the semester?
That's such a great question. So family groups are essentially kind of the students that you are going to be living with. And then we have some of our student success coordinators on the call who are going to be, kind of the head of each of our family groups. So there are going to be 4 family groups, very similar to the 4 cultural modules that you will be a part of as well. And these are going to kind of be students that you will be having, more formal, not formal, but like structured times where you're going to go out to dinner together, where you might do different activities together with your student success coordinator. And of course, you're going to meet other people across the program. But this will just kind of be a set group to get you started, help you get to know some of the students that you are traveling with, and can kind of be your go-to people that are more of your smaller community within our larger NUN community. Anything you want to add, Dior?
Yeah, so each family group I'd say is gonna probably consist of say about 22 to 23 students within it, and the coordinator is responsible for that group. So and the coordinator is gonna like plan different things for your family group. So one of the things we have planned is family dinners that we'll be having throughout the semester that you can participate in, and it's be a good opportunity for you to go out with the people within your family group and just kind of like chill and have dinner together and everything like that. And then your coordinator will also be planning other different types of excursions with the family group together. So just as Amanda was mentioning earlier, just another good point of connection, stuff like that. So you already have that built-in sense of community that's built in. So, but it's also a good opportunity to just have those people you connect with, which is not to say that you can't already just connect with people outside of your family group as well, but it's just a great way that we've tried and built in those resources and those people that you can reach out to already.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. I know we are at time. I wanted to thank everyone for joining us today. Hopefully this has been helpful in answering some of the questions that you have as you start to think about traveling over to Belfast in Northern Ireland and get started at classes with Queen's University Belfast. We are absolutely thrilled, truly cannot wait to see you there at Queen's. I'm traveling over, even though I'm based in Boston. I will be there as well for your arrival, along with our NUN site staff, Anya, as well. We will be cheering you on as you guys get to the airport, and we know that you have an incredible semester ahead. And thank you all for taking the time to join us, especially a huge thank you to Anya joining us. It is after 5 p.m. on a Friday there in Belfast, and she's agreed to join us and delay her weekend a little bit. So thank you again, everyone, and we will see you in Belfast. And of course, if you have any questions, do feel free to reach out, and I will be sharing this recording in the upcoming week or two. So thank you all again.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye,
See you in
everyone.
Belfast.